You go to start your vocal practice session. You take in your deep breath and your voice feels thick. It's heavy and hard to move. You try to sing. It's like pushing through mud, and whatever ease you had yesterday is gone. Now, here's the thing. It's not in your head. There's a measurable reason why your voice has good days and bad days. Voice scientists call it phonation threshold pressure, or PTP. Think of it as your voice's difficulty dial. When it's high, singing is hard. And when it's low, singing feels easier. And after 50, well, that dial tends to creep up. So let's talk about what's turning it up and how to turn it back down. We all know the vocal folds don't just magically start working. They need air pressure from underneath to start the vibration. Phonation threshold pressure, PTP, is the minimum air pressure it takes to get your vocal folds moving. The simple analogy is, think of a trumpet player. A trumpet player needs enough air behind the lips to get them buzzing. No buzz, no sound. Your vocal folds work the same way. Now, here's what matters. That threshold changes day to day, and it can change a lot with age. If your vocal folds are healthy, hydrated, and pliable, the threshold is low. Singing feels easy. If they're dry, stiff, swollen, or not closing well, that threshold goes up. And your body compensates by pushing harder, which just makes everything worse. When PTP is high, you'll notice you have to work to get sound out. Your voice will fatigue faster. You'll likely have notes that crack or flip unexpectedly. You'll feel tempted to press, squeeze, or shove more air. And the danger is, once you start compensating, it forms a loop. High threshold, you push harder. Your system tenses. The folds get irritated, so the threshold rises more. A huge part of vocal health and technique, especially after 50, is managing this PTP value. There are a lot of things that can raise your threshold. Illness, allergies, reflux, sleep, even the environment. But in the aging voice, 3 drivers tend to show up again and again. The first is dryness. As we age, the surface hydration of the vocal folds tends to decrease. That thin, slippery layer matters because your folds vibrate hundreds of times a second. Less moisture, more friction, higher PTP. Try this right now. Buzz your lips like a trumpet player. Now, lick your lips and buzz again. Now wipe them dry and try it. Do you feel that difference? The dry lips are much harder. And that's what dryness does to your vocal fold surface. It raises the startup cost of vibration. Number 2 is stiffness. Tissue loses elasticity over time, and the entire vocal mechanism can become less springy, less elastic. When the tissue is less pliable, it takes more pressure to initiate vibration. So even with decent technique, you feel like you need more push, especially in the morning. And then number 3 is atrophy. This is loss of muscle bulk in the vocal folds. And as the vocal folds thin over time, closure becomes less complete. You get this small gap. Air leaks through, and you compensate by pushing more pressure. And here's the bigger problem. These 3 issues stack. So you're not just dealing with one issue, you're often dealing with dryness plus stiffness plus atrophy, all pushing the dial up at the same time. On a quick note, medications can also dry you out, and antihistamines are a big one. If your voice is chronically dry, even though your water intake is solid, talk to your doctor about your meds. And if you'd like more insights into how to reclaim and revitalize your older voice, you can get the full PDF download of my best-selling book, The Mature Singer's Guidebook. The link is in the description below. So, if PTP is the difficulty dial, how do we turn it down? Well, there are 4 things that actually move the needle. First, hydrate from the inside. Drink water, but also eat water-rich foods, fruits, vegetables, soups. Systemic hydration matters. It's the foundation. But for that thick morning voice, it's not the fastest lever. Second, we hydrate from the outside. This is the bigger game changer for a lot of singers. A mesh nebulizer with isotonic saline gets moisture directly to the tissue. This is not steam. This nebulizer is creating much finer particles that can reach the vocal fold surface more effectively. And this saline solution is better absorbed by your vocal folds. So if dryness is driving your high PTP days, topical hydration with a mesh nebulizer is often a "where have you been all my life" tool. Now talk to your doctor once again if you have respiratory conditions, and keep your equipment clean. Third, we have SOVT exercises, semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. These include lip trills, straw phonation, humming. These exercises create back pressure above the vocal folds, which helps the system vibrate with less pressure from below. You can feel this. Try this with me. Do a lip trill up and down for 5 seconds or so. If you can't do it, you can do a raspberry. Now, just speak a sentence. Hi, how are you? Notice if your voice feels a little easier. Does it take less energy to get the voice working? That's not magic. That's mechanics. And here's the key insight. When your body experiences that easier vibration, it remembers the coordination. That's why these SOVT exercises aren't just warm-ups. They really train the voice. And fourth is daily vocal exercise. Now, hydration and SOVTs, they help quickly, but you also need to play the long game because we are fighting atrophy and stiffness over time. Here's my rule. 5 days a week, 20 minutes a day, no more than 1 week off. And if you can't do a full session, do 5 minutes. Just do gentle lip glides or a short session with voice straws. You can even just do it throughout the day. It can be cumulative. The point is, keep the system awake. Consistent input keeps your tissue pliable and the muscles engaged. So, if your voice feels harder to use than it used to, especially after 50, one of the best explanations is your phonation threshold pressure is higher. The 3 big drivers are stiffness, dryness, and atrophy. And remember, they stack and they push that difficulty dial up. To bring it back down, first, stay hydrated, inside and out. Use SOVT exercises daily and do consistent vocal exercise to fight stiffness and atrophy as you age. Because the goal is obviously not to work harder. Our goal is to make the system more efficient. And when it's easier for the vocal folds to vibrate, it's easier to sing, which means you stop fighting the mechanics and you put your attention back where it belongs, on expression, connection, the reasons you sing in the first place. Thank you for watching. We'll talk soon. Take care.